Morning, everyone. A very auspicious start to the day. That's just JPY suddenly pulled back. You've recognised most of the faces, so you know what the story is about the chat line and interacting, etc. So I'm going to go straight onto the charts. What Spanish and French trade are you talking about now, Anna-Marie? Morning, everyone. Morning, Henny. What's Spanish and French trade? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that.
The French GDP in Spanish.
It was the Spanish CPI and the French GDP.
That's all part of the euro, so don't worry too much about that. They're not that significant a player in the game, so don't worry about that. Yeah,
I know, but it made a nice move on Euro USD.
Oh, did it? All right.
Yeah, but you would have had fast fingers.
Very fast. Bloody hell! You need to be a piano concert pianist, virtuoso for that.
Yeah, but I did play piano in my youth.
Ah, really? Really? Oh, right.
Like 150 years ago.
When Pontius Pilate was still learning how to fly, that long ago.
Okay, what you don't know, I was a helicopter pilot as well.
Wow.
Just a private one, but I did get my private license.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. On that note, let's just come to half past, wait a few more seconds. Okay, half past it is. Let's get started. I just want to mention the German GDP and CPI. Just let this guy in. CPI is coming out at, I think it's 10 o'clock this morning. Just bear that in mind, okay? Just remind me before 10, we'll go and have a look at the euro on that one. Remember, it's a major player. So you had a bit of movement of the euro dollar on the French and the Spanish one. The German should have a better movement in theory, because clearly it's a much bigger economy. So that should be interesting. Okay. So just remind you before we'll have a look at that. Okay. In fact, I'm going to dump it, Mrs. Helicopter Pilot, on your responsible shoulders. About 10 minutes, quarter to 10, just to remind me. Something like that. So we're going to go on that one. Okay. Right. Good enough. Right, not a very good start to the day. Got a trade idea out on the Swiss franc, and it was only a 2 star, but it seemed to affect the Swiss franc quite a lot. And it suddenly, unfortunately, just pulled back. So if the guys took the trade, it might have been hit the stop. It's a bit of a pity because it just suddenly came back on that, and I didn't think it was important enough to worry about. But clearly, I was wrong. But having said that, I still think it's oversold. I like the Swiss francs, we both know. So yeah, I still think if you still like the trade, if you didn't do it, you get a much better price. If you did the trade, I'm sorry you got kicked, but just let these guys in. Sorry you got kicked on it. But if you want to look at it again, you might want to do that. If not, leave it. Okay, because I still see the upside there. I'm just sorry about that because I saw that. I saw the economic calendar. I checked it. I thought that's a retail sales 2 star, and clearly had more effect than I expected. So there we are. Japanese interest rate decision is exactly left as it was. Their interest rate, believe it or not, is 0.1%, 1/10 of 1%. So in Japan, you borrow money virtually for free. Okay, interesting. That hasn't moved at all. Just bear that in mind as well. And to say German GDP coming out and the CPI coming out later on this morning at 10 o'clock. A couple of things coming out. There's two consumption, personal consumption expenditure is coming out. PC anyway, coming out as well, 2:30 this afternoon. Okay. No, I don't think so. I wouldn't be selling the Swiss franc at the moment. We had a bit of jumping around the Japanese yen. I'm not quite sure why it jumped around so much. It came out as expected. Maybe a little bit surprised, maybe expect a more hawkish stance. I don't know. But I wouldn't be selling it. But I definitely would be selling it. It's come back at a better price. And I think we might start easing its way up again. If you didn't get into it, nobody got into it, probably just as bloody well. But I'm afraid I did, but I got a bit late on it, so I had a slightly wider stop. Mine's down a bit. 158.70, and I got a little bit better price. So I should show you a bit of a profit at the moment. Okay, gold was the other one. Okay, well, don't sell it. If you like the buy, do it. If you don't like the buy, don't do it. I'm not sure about a sell on that one. Gold, I think 1950-ish is going to be a potential buy. It's hovering around that sort of level at the moment. But I still think I'll look at the dollar index as well. And the dollar index is pretty sideways at the moment. So I think it's going to have a bit of a bounce. Look at the 4-hour. It's a bit of technical damage there, but where's the stop loss below this on the 4-hour, so you should be okay. And on the daily, it seems to be holding there as well. So if you want to do the gold one, you can do, and there's a signal there. So it's 52 because it moved to that, but 50 is a better price. So there's a stop TP, and if you want to do that. And you can work on about 25 rand, something like that, per 0.01. So don't forget, not one size fits all in position sizing. Use your calculator and then do the normal risk reward, etc. So you get the right volumes. Okay. I think it's a potential buy on that one, yeah. If you go at this price here, I'll put it up again for you, the same details. And you get, I think, about 25, 26 at the guess. 1935, correct? And 1980. Why does it keep doing that? 1935. Maybe put the zeros in for whatever reason. Why does it keep doing that? Sorry, give me a moment, guys. Right, so what? 28. Call it, make it stick to 30 rand. Call it 30 rand and 50 rand. Don't worry about the 50, the 30 bucks. So it's 30 bucks a micro. So clear it's 0.1 for 300. So don't forget to do your calculations properly. And then if you like it, you're getting jumping around a bit, you can do it. Okay, there you are. I've definitely done it. I've got a couple of TP hits yesterday, I'm quite pleased to say. So that didn't do too badly for me. on the trades. Okay, so yeah, I hope you all got that. There, we can move on. Okay, so are those the two? We didn't get the Euro NZD out in the end. We tried to get a decent price. We didn't send it because it didn't quite get there. And then this thing shot up. So that would have been a pleasant trade, but anyway, it didn't get there. EUR AUD. I don't know if anyone went back in that one as well. EUR AUD. I think people maybe stood aside because the Eurozone yesterday interest rate decision. What's the price? 65. No, that ship sailed. Oh, you know, that ship's definitely sailed. Okay, that's fine. So anyone went in again would have a big smile on their face. So took it, hit the TP, came down again. Anyone took it again yesterday? Well, clearly hit the TP again. Big smile. So that's just fine. Great, nice one. 6532 as a TP, not bad. EUR GBP. That one was a sell. Not going anywhere. Bloody hell, look at this one, not going anywhere. So yeah, sell at 78, just a little bit below that, very slow. That's fine, Ivan, stick with it. It's hovering a bit. You might have slowed it out, who knows, but let it run. See what happens going into next week. Okay, so gold, stick with it. This one, it's a hell of a slow, but anyway, it might come right. Okay, anything else? Oh yeah, Brent, 82.30 was the entry. Something WTI, so that's nicely. I think it's only $1, just over $1 away from the entry. I normally like at least a couple of dollars from a stop, but if you feel going into the weekend a bit nervous about it, you can bring your stop up to break even just to protect yourself going into the weekend. Don't forget that. But otherwise, you can let that run. It seems to be doing okay for the moment. The guys will be probably the same on WTI because they're both oil. So the WTI, the WTI one with the 78.70, and that's obviously $1 up as well. So might be a little bit early to move your stop. Just give it a bit of room if you want. You can at least bring it up a little bit, reduce your risk if you want. But if it's sort of 80 above, or or 80, nearly 84 on the Brent, don't forget to bring your stop up just above. To cover costs and that your entry level, so you've taken out risk from the trade and you can sleep happily over the weekend. Euro AUD modified. Okay, well, you broke even. Fair enough. That's fair enough. That's fair enough, Nicky. Just remember, there are times I get quite close, maybe 15, 20 pips away, and I'm still in it. I'm maybe 15, 20 minutes up. And there's a big fundamental coming out. I might just do it then, but otherwise, try and keep a bit of a distance. But as it doesn't matter, actually, in hindsight, it doesn't matter. There's not much happening anyway. So fair enough. No problem on that one. Okay. You look at the Euro JPY. Hope you'll know what I meant by that. You got to think your feet a lot here. Play it by ear, you know what I mean? Bit of juggling. It's not one size fits all, etc. Japanese say come out with no change interest rates, had a bit of a jump around there. And well, it's kind of the neutral zone, a bit of technical damage there. I think, Ivan, just a suggestion this, it's only about 20 minutes time, 10 o'clock. If you want to take the risk and go for it, you can, but it might have a situation where the GDP and remember GDP and CPI coming out exactly the same time on the German and the German economy. It might be nice just to wait for that. But if you feel confident, because they're not doing too well at the moment, the German's going to be a bit weaker, it might have some negative on the euro anyway, but that's your choice. I like your idea by look of it. Before going into depth, I'm just saying, just be aware that's coming out in 20 minutes time. It might be like just to hang 5. It might have worked out for you if you enter now, but that's your gamble. Okay, I'm just making you aware of it. Okay, and it's hovering there, as you can see on the 4 hour. Okay, yeah. I think that's probably wiser, more prudent. Okay, good enough. So it's just hovering at the moment. No surprise there. A lot of people doing the same as that. Okay, good. Have I covered everything? Yes, I think all the others think either out or whatever. So that's fine. Right or wrong, they went back in the CHF JPY. and I'm sticking with it. It seems to be coming to the party. Good stuff. So if the guys didn't do it and you like it, you can take it at a better price. If you took it, and I'm sorry, it knocked you out, literally on that release. As I said, surprisingly, you're a bit nervous about it. Fair enough, leave it. But I still see upside, and I think it's like, what price did I get in? Tell you now. Yeah, I got in there. So it's a slight profit. Right, that's a stop loss, beg your pardon. So it's a slight profit there, as you can see. So we'll see how it goes. Gold, anything happening on gold? Just get rid of that. Don't like getting in the way. Gold, yeah, it's hovering 1950. Let it run. Give it a chance. Okay, I went through the lot as I do each morning. I didn't find anything else to jump on, but I still think it's possible on the euro dollar, AUD, USD, maybe the NZD, USD, a couple of them like that, where it's got a bit of potential. I'm going into maybe Monday. I'm also looking at US dollar JPY. I think it's getting to the stage where nothing's happening there. Leave it alone. Okay. So we'll have a look on Monday, see how the dust is settling. If we're going to be continued dollar strength or pullback, I think we'll have some opportunities on that going forward. Very likely to be fairly quiet going into normally the Friday. But what they do, the big institutions do something called square their books. Now, not all of them, clearly, they've got longer running strategies as well as short, but they do close quite a few of very large positions, which are on the derivatives or leveraged. Same thing, going in, so you get a little bit of wobbling and then it gets fairly quiet. You don't get a lot of guys taking out very large positions. Plus, it doesn't matter. Hold on the position going forward. That's not a problem. From sort of an institution point of view, a lot of them do not enter a big deal on Friday, and then they square some of them. So expect it to be pretty quiet going into Monday. We've got a couple that hopefully come right in the end, and then we can have another look at Monday and see what happens. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Friday can be for that purpose a little bit on the quiet side, and we'll get a bit of action at 10 hopefully. And then if you want to do a straddle trade, you can. And say Hoppers 2 is the PC coming out in the States. That's correct. That's coming out in Hoppers 2. Yeah. Good enough. Okay, now I don't know how much bouncing around is going to happen on the GDP. It's coming out in about 15 minutes. So it takes the weight of responsibility off your shoulders, Mrs. Funderburg. So, because we're talking about it already. All right, anybody want to do the straddle on it? I'm fairly tempted myself. Anyone do the straddle on it? We've used the euro dollar again, okay? Okay, Nikki and Marie. Ivan likes it. Okay, we'll use the euro dollar again, and let's have a look. Anyone got a better idea than the euro dollar? It's going to be the euro, clearly. So we do the euro dollar, or do you want to do something else? Happy with the euro dollar, okay. $10 pips from there is up there. Okay, so let's see how it goes. The other guys are new to it. It's coming up 15 minutes. Don't get cute if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. We can watch how we do it. What we do is, I'm going to show you quickly how we do it. We go and we put in a buy stop and a sell stop up 10 pips above below. Now I'm going to work on 80 and I want to risk what I want to risk. Risk 1600 to 4. I'll risk about 2.4 on this one. What's 8 into 4? It's about 0.3. You work your own volumes out. Don't look at mine. Okay, right. Then you change it to a buy stop. I'm showing you what to do. The guys have done it before, can do it at their own speed and time. I'm just showing quickly how the other guys do it. And then we can discuss after the situation. Gone a little bit bigger than I normally would for that reason. Buy stop, was it 10 pips below the buy price? Make it 109.50. Is that right? Yeah, 109.50. And then I'm going to buy stop 109.50. What's happening here?
Roger, for the buy, it's 109.70.
You bloody idiot, Roger. What do I do without you? What would I do without you? No wonder it didn't come up. 70 in it, yeah. Sorry. Now, and I tell other people, can't add and subtract. I'm doing it myself. Idiot. Thank you. I just want to show it. So let's go to levels. I don't want them to get filled clearly before the release. Thank you. Everyone's muting themselves. They're bursting out laughing at my expense. I get it.
No, we will excuse you. It's Friday. You're busy
That's-
consolidating.
That's correct. But actually, I'll tell you the real reason. I just had my first single malt whiskey, and that's probably affected me. 46. Make it 48.
Are you bragging, huh?
So you put above and below the market, bring that down a little touch, something like that. And that's how you do it. I know somebody put a stop or TP in, I put them in afterwards. What you do, I know you guys know it, but the guys who don't know it, don't try it this time. It's not enough notice, unless you're really confident. It's up to you. And if it goes up and fills this position there, then I will close this one and then I can look at stops. If it goes down and fills this one, I'll close that and it will delete it. And then I'll start putting in stops or whatever. Some guys like Mike put them in anyway, maybe use a 50 pip or something. I don't know. I never do it. So it's a bit of a thumb suck. You can work your own out. Okay, and see how it goes. It's another 40. So I hope you all know it. I'm just going to get these out of the way. I don't want to get filled. Just a reminder, bring them a bit closer just now so I can concentrate on other stuff. Okay, just moving a bit closer. Okay, right. So let's see how that goes. It's another 10 or so minutes. Right. Anything you want to discuss beforehand? Oh, yes, that's what I can do. Put the economic calendar up. I'm pretty sure not everyone's got it. So I'll do that in the meantime. If you have, obviously, you know, just get this out of the way. And then I'll put the dollar index up for those who don't have it. And I'll put my name up for those who don't have it as well. You can call if you like, but probably just using the WhatsApp. Needs more details, I'll call you back on the recorded line. It's another number. Okay. It's the computer one. I talked on the computer. Okay, so if you haven't got that, there you are. But it's only for people who've got a funded account, please, not a live account. And I mean funded, I don't mean 25 grand, I mean funded. Okay. Good. So there we are. Don't forget, in the meantime, I'll just do this quickly while we're waiting. Right click on the blank piece of the chart, go to templates, and don't forget save your template. You can have several if you want. Clearly put your name in there, press the save button, and away you go. So if you lose your charts by whatever reason, just go to templates. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 in there. Just pick the one you like. If you've got 2 or 3 of them, and they come up and run you again, just so you know that. Don't forget specifications, left click, right click. Look at the specifications. They're different on instruments. This is the margin. It's 2.5, not 25. That's 2.5 pips or 25 points. And the contract size 100,000. The volumes are very different to a share. F-stop is forward, it's a share. And you check it out there, it says contract size 1. So you might go 0.05 on the euro dollar, but you might go 30, 40, 50, 60, depending, 0.0 on a share, because only 1 is the contract size. So you must get those volumes. You don't go micros on the shares, although you can, but you're completely actually wasting your time. The company does help a little bit by defaulting it to 1.0, so you can't put it in. These guys just don't know that, and then they wonder why they haven't made any money when it hits the TP. Mind you, it hits the SL, they have lost, I suppose that's the plus side. Hey, okay, so 10 minutes to go, so we've got a few more minutes. CHF, it's starting to come right. And if anyone went in again, it's starting to come right. And the gold is hovering. See how that comes. Okay, the dollar's still fairly strong. I think personally 102 is going to hold, but we shall see. That's on the dollar index, we should all have. Okay, any questions in the meantime? We've got a few minutes before the release. Anything you like to discuss? Any of the newer guys there? Or I say newer, it might have been a couple of times, still, I haven't been a month or two joining me. Anything you'd like to ask in the meantime? Unmute or put on the chat line. Anything you want some clarification on? Don't forget that always have these moving averages on, especially the brown and the blue, the 250 simple, because they apply to all charts and it's very important. Those who've been trading for a while, including myself, find them very useful indeed. Right, what came out? Yeah, what came out was no change in interest rate on the release at 5 this morning in Japan. It was 0.1% before, and it remained the same. Okay, so I think maybe they were expecting a bit of a change or maybe an increase or something like that, because it didn't happen. I forget which way it happened to the Japanese yen. Let's just quickly check what happened to the yen. Yeah, clearly, yes. Okay, it jumped, obviously, strengthened it a bit. No, hang on, went down. Yeah, it strengthened the yen because the pound came off. So that's basically it. So I think that might have had a bit of an effect, but I think it was more the CHF, a 2-star knockout. I think it was retail sales or something like that. I'll just check again for you.
No, but if you look
Okay,
the yen against the CAD as well as the GBP, it's exactly more or less the same trends that followed. So when you send out that signal, they were busy with the governor of the BOY answering and questions and answer.
Gotcha. Because when I saw that, I went on to the next stuff. This is my excuse for the trade ideas. Then they went into my normal morning meetings. Okay, because he's still chatting. Okay, I get it. Okay. Because I say it was my mistake on the Swissy there, because I thought it wasn't important enough that much effect. It didn't have a jump. Having said that, I got in again, and I have to go on so much better price, so now it seems to be recovering, which is good news. So that's fine. I think other guys might have done the same thing, so we'll see. Okay, just check the euro dollar. It's obviously don't want to get filled. That's still miles away. Good. It might be a little bit quiet going in. So 15 minutes, not much, a bit of hovering. Just remind myself to get a little bit closer. 1095, going to make to 109.54. Make it 109.44, some of that just now. But I'll leave where it is at the moment, just move it a little bit closer to time. Okay, thanks for that, Fanny. Good point. Okay. Okay with that, Nikki? Happy with that?
Yeah, all good.
All good. Okay.
Oh, Roger, I wanted to ask, you know, on the Euro AUD, so I got kicked out for that one when I modified it. What do you mean by when's a good time when people jump in again, when they get stopped out and then they jump in again and then it goes up in their favor?
There's no such thing as when or whatever. It's just an opinion or advice or a suggestion. The overall strength is quite clear on the Swiss franc yen. A bit of a fundamental, having more of an effect than I thought it was. But all I did was got a much better price, so I got in at a better price. And with a completely different stop loss to the signal. I'll tell you where it is now. I'll show you actually. Okay, so I got in a different price. I got it, yeah, there we are. That one, and I put a different stop. Okay, I put I think slightly higher TP as well, because I think it's got some upside, and I chose that because the overall picture, one is clearly stronger than the other. So I thought that happened, pity, but I had another go. It's not always a good idea, okay, to do that. Now the EUR AUD, leave it alone for now. They could get a pullback, but it's fairly quiet, clearly, because it's coming out now in what, another 5 minutes or so. But I'm not sure I'll be selling. Well, I don't know what's going to happen with the euro, so I'll wait a little bit. It might be worth range trade selling it down. It might be worthwhile waiting till it comes back to buy it. But I wouldn't go back in again on the moment.
Okay.
The EUR AUD, who knows who took it, should have been a long. It was indeed, and it did pretty damn well hit the TP. Some guys did chase it, didn't come back to the pending order. Some guys said it's looking pretty good, I'll chase anyway. Pietro, who's on at the moment, has done that a couple of times, has worked out quite well. You've got to sink in your feet. It's not set, nothing set as 100%. So you think maybe I can bend the rules a little bit and have a go. Just bear that in mind. Yeah, you can put any moving average you like on. Just get back the euro dollar, so don't forget. you can put on the exponential 60 or whatever. A lot of people have their own particular ones they use. That's your own choice. I'm saying the 50 and the 200. I use the dark blue for the 50 and the brown for the 200 are very, 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 very commonly used, internationally used. Most traders have them. All that means, Lasiba, means they become self-fulfilling. It looks like, but at the time I thought it was going to hold, whatever, but it turned out in retrospect it was a bit close. I thought the 4 hours out the way, and I sort of said, okay, but happens, okay. So have that. If you have any others your own, that's your choice. But those I personally go must, and those two, the 50 and 200. I use the black ones, the 100, and I use the 10 as well. Remember, it's not 10 daily or 10 hours, it's 10 times what you have up there. So that'll be a 200 times 15 or 50 times 15. You get the idea. And they work on all charts. Don't forget that. Okay? Do not forget that. They work on all charts. So I strongly suggest you have that and then save them. You can put your own personal ones you like. Okay. But nothing more, sorry about that, nothing more particularly on that one. Where's the 15 here? Bring this down a little bit. It's getting 57 a bit closer. What is it? 58, bring it down to... There we are. And this one should be at 32, correct? Okay, so that's what we thought was the right place. We used the 4 hour, etc. And unfortunately, well, anyway, it happened. Okay. So there we are. Wait another minute. Just a reminder, don't forget at 11 o'clock, I've got load shedding. To sort my UPS out in Durban. I'm in Uvongage next door to Margate at the moment. So if like yesterday, it suddenly gets cut off at 11, it's not me being rude. It's just a load shedding kicked in. And I've got a portable one, but it takes a few minutes for it to click in. So you get that gap, if you know what I'm saying. Don't get load shedding just before this happens, then you'll be fed up, eh? Neither of them are filled after a few moments, seconds, or whatever it is. Like I did the other day, delete both of them because it doesn't know what to do with itself. How do you want to get filled and when indecision? That's coming out now. Anything happening there? What if I should actually leave it? It's not happening. Give it a few more moments. Shall I delete? I'm going to delete it. Okay, delete them. It's not happening. Okay, don't be caught and it's not happening. So I've just deleted them. Okay. Obviously, damn squib. Happens, but at least it's better than losing. Hey, what happened there? GDP was a little bit lower than expected. And the CPI, I mean, where's the CPI? German CPI, sorry, I beg your pardon. German CPI is coming up 2 o'clock, you dickhead. Not looking right. It must be the whiskey this morning. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so that was a damp squib, so I just deleted both of them. Yeah, 2 o'clock is the CPI coming out. The CPI is more important to indication inflationary area. Remember Lagarde spoke yesterday, did a talk slightly hawkish stance, another 0.25%. So you might get a bit more luck at 2 o'clock if you're around and not doing stuff or whatever. The same principle. But you saw what I did there, guys. You told me hovering there's a damp squib like that. This is a 15-minute chart. It really is a dead as a doornail. Give a few moments, nothing happening, get rid of them both. Okay. All right, so there it is. So we just
That's
move on.
exactly, sorry, Raj, that's exactly what happened yesterday to me on the Dow. Remember, I said I'm going to use the Dow for the straddle trade. After 2 minutes, the movement was something like, I think, 12 pips, and I've put it on 25 pips to activate.
Spot on, Farley. Now, other guys, what he means by that, why 25? Because it's far more volatile, except in this case, actually. And on top of it, it's a much wider, spread. So if you put a 10 on that, good volatility and something goes wrong, you haven't even covered the spread. So it needs a little bit wider gap. And that was the correct scenario, as it turns out. So you just got rid of them both. I've said it before, finding that and know it, so doing it for a while, but put your brains more into, this is not rocket science, all the other stuff. The rocket science stuff comes in is really having to do a little bit of common sense and understanding there's a lot of emotions affect us as human beings and variables. That's really, in my opinion, where a lot of the stuff has got to come in, is that kind of emotional discipline and getting position sizes right. And try not to stereo like I'm not at the moment, because it's really, a lot of it is because minds get screwed around with the up and down, and that's why often we do silly things, which even though we've learned in theory or on the demo, it comes to practice, it affects us. So that's probably the best tip to work on those areas. Easier said than done, I know. And always remember, I'm sorry to repeat it again, millions of people trading with different emotions, different amounts of money, different cultures, different parts of the world, different strategies, etc. So you're always going to get some the ups and downs. And sometimes, because there's so many retail traders in the world at the moment, because the exponential increase since COVID, a lot of amateurs are out there who are trading more emotionally without much rationality behind it. Collectively, they can affect the price in some strange ways at times, as we've seen in the past. Okay, so just bear that in mind. But still, they're small compared to the majority of the professionals and institutions. So the sense does come back in, but it might have clutched in the meantime. And sometimes you get lucky as well. Okay. That's why it's important to get these ideas, work on your own discipline and emotional understanding. That's very important, very important. Probably better go and get a therapist and a knowledgeable than reading a book on economics, actually. Okay, well, still staring at it. Let's have a look. Anything happening to the trades at the moment? In the meantime, well, gold's coming off a little bit. We'll let it run, see what happens. I think the dollar's going to hold at 102, so we might get a bit of a pullback. It did get to 102, just under, scratch under, and it pulled back a bit, so we might get a pullback. Hopefully, we should push the gold price up. You know how that works. Gold goes the opposite direction to the dollar. Buy on the Dow BC announcement. You could do that, depending what situation, or you can even do a straddle if you want to do it. But we'll see. Okay. But at the moment, it seems to be the momentum still up. There's a lot of good economic stuff come out of the States, so that it looks like they avoid a recession, and at the moment, well, the trend is definitely up and based on good fundamentals. So yeah.
But there was a pullback yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to quick look before I go to the Euro JPY. Yeah, down here you mean, yeah. But I'm still nervous of buying at these levels, and a little bit nervous of selling it as well. I'm just giving it a little bit of I'm just staying out at the moment, but definitely it's very strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 a day. Last 12 days, we only had one red. So it's due for a profit take, if nothing else. but I'm not going to preempt that. But I still think if it pulls back a bit, we can get a buy going because, as I say, the markets are just, well, doing incredibly well, despite the increased interest rates, etc. News coming out on the big companies is good. So, well, I don't know what the Yanks are doing, but they're doing it right somehow. Well done. Okay, Euro JPY. For a sell. Well, that doesn't tell me a lot. That's mostly fundamental driven this morning. So we'll put the 4 on to get a better idea. Clearly, that was between 4 and 8 o'clock, that jumping around. So go back the technicals on that's out of the way. It's clearly the neutral zone. To be honest with you, Ivan, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It seems to be at the top. What is the range on the hourly? Is there much meat on the bones? Yeah, there's enough meat on the bones for a range trade. It's on the highs that seem to be holding. Maybe get a pullback. The yen did strengthen a little bit on that for whatever reason. Maybe for a range trade, you can look at it on the hourly. Where can you put the stop? That's a fundamental, and that's a fundamental. Ignore that. Rather work on the body, okay? So you need to put the stop above the body. We're just using the hour for a bit of a change. New to it, your first trade, or you're not that experienced, don't get cute. The guys who know the score, we're playing with the rules a little bit here. Maybe a stop just above here. About 45 pips stop and take it down here. You get a risk reward. Do you want to do a range trade on the hourly? But guys, again, who know the score on this. The other guys either use a demo or if they want to do it on the mind with a small one, maybe a very small one if you're starting, or keep an eye on it. But this is more of a range, so it's more aggressive. If you're a conservative by nature, don't bother. Sorry, go on, Ivan.
Because the reason I was looking at is there's a lot of downtrend momentum. Yes, I understand there was the fundamentals that came out, but it looks like there's a lot of push down from the top to just push down the euro yen.
Well, to back you up, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days basically, and it's pulled back 600 pips in about a week. That's a lot. Take your point. And it's done the technical damage on the daily. Again, to get your point. Let's look at the week. Any problems there? It's done technical damage on the week. That's a 10 times week, 10 weekly one. Technical damage there. 4 hour. Let's have a look there. Oh, sorry. What am I looking for? 4 hour. Well, there you are, Ivan. Look at that. Below both on the 4 hour. So it's a sell on the 4 hour. A lot of people use the 4 hours. I use both, 10 and 4 hours sometimes. I used to do the daily all the time, but I've changed now. So I do the 4 and the weekly. So the daily, it's technical damage, and the 4 hours in the sell zone. So the more I look at it, the more I discuss it with you, the more I like it, Ivan. That's what I want you, all you guys, to get the stage like Ivan, like Farney, like some of the other guys who come up with these ideas, because I miss it. You saw this morning, Anna Marie had to help me out with my maths. I put it on the buy stop, putting it 10 pips below, or I might have forgotten the Bank of Japan governor was still speaking, you know what I mean, later on. So it helps me as well. And I like to work it like, we've got 10 or 15, 20 people in their experience, and we get majority liking it. There's a lot of moral support for everybody to go for it. So, yeah, I mean to like it more. So, yeah, do you want to do a range trade in it, guys? I'll put the risk reward up for you. If you don't, you don't. If you do, you do. There we are. I've got the one out, yeah. I'm going to sell, and I can put it 50 pips above there. So I'll make it 150, make it 153.80. Simple as that. Wrong one. 153.80. I think that single malt, I'll pinch a few there, Farley, is hitting me today. And the TP was going to be down at on the body 152. Make it 152.30. We want to take account of the spread, if you know what I mean by that. We don't want it to come down and hit the 152.22 on the bid, and you're getting out on the buy, and you're still in it bounces. So I put it just above there to cover the spread differential. I hope you're all clear on that. And look at the risk reward. It's not bad. 2 to 1 if it hits, and it's 60 odd rand a micro. Not bad. So anyone wants to do that one? Remember, it's an aggressive trade this on the hourly, on Ivan's suggestion, and I like it. Don't get too upset. I've been doing this for a while, by the way, so don't think he's some genius learned it one day. None of us are, but you can learn from all of us. Okay. You got Farney's brains and my incredible good looks, so you got a nice spread here.
Thank you for that. I'm taking this trade.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Who else likes it? Farney likes it. I was trying to put the trade in, but he's laughing too much. So he's done a fat finger and put the wrong one in. But seriously, Ivan, you tell it was your idea, you would say. Anna Marie quite likes it, so I'm going to put that down. I might get a nice one for the day. Just a second. 30.
I appreciate the praise.
153.30. 153.80. And 52.30. I won't be posting it for this to be sent out. That confused everyone on an hourly chart. So this is just the guys who know the score in the trade room, because we're about to discuss it a bit more length. Advantage. Yeah. Talk everyone else. Hang on, I'm just going to mute everyone here because I'm going to go back on my noise. Sometimes Ivan, whatever, say, Roger, are you doing it? Because I started to forget to do my own. That's a good reminder. I'm going to do it as well. $60, 0. Just do just under 89. Don't go for 0.0. No, I'll make 0.2. That's it, 0.2. That's good enough on that one. So I'm selling, right? Put the stop loss in, idiot. So just sometimes you can, Roger, aren't you putting in or whatever? It's not because I don't like the trade. I've forgotten. I missed some on that basis. What was the stop loss again? 50 above that, eh? So it's 153.8. Bloody wrong place. Keep putting it there. 153.8. And what was the other one? 152.3. Okay, what I've just done there, guys, is sometimes if it's a big mover and you know what your volume is, you know it's a buy, take it in, and then you can put your SL and TP in afterwards, if you see what I mean. Because you don't want, by the time you faffed around and put the SL and TP in correctly, and you're rushing a bit because you see the movement, you might put the wrong thing in. So if you know the volumes, get the thing in the market. If it's a slow move, it doesn't matter too much. It's a quick mover, and you put the SL and TP afterwards. If you don't want to be getting in, and then suddenly, as you back the stop loss, etc., and it's fallen off if you're getting short 10 pips, now you're getting a worse price. Just bear that in mind. So my CHF, thank goodness, come to the party a bit. See how the gold does. We see how we do on that one. Okay. Let's see how that does. So that'll keep us on the toes going forward. What's the dollar doing? It's 102, so it's going to hold because I see some potential on the dollar index. Okay. Oh, by the way, before we look at that, does everybody know how to cut the position? I've got 0.16 in the Swiss franc Japanese yen. I might want to bank some of that, but not the entire. So I don't want to close the entire one. And let's say I want to bank, I've got 16 micros. Remember, 0.01 is a micro, 0.1 is a mini, 1.0 is a standard lot. Seriously, I've got there 16 microns, simple as that. And I might suddenly say, it's giving me some resistance. I'm going to modify my stop. And I don't want to, it might break through, but I think I'm going to take some off the table, as they call it in the trade. I think I'm, for example, going to bank 6 micros and let 10 run. Now as I'm closing part of my trade, not the entire amount. Okay. I hope everyone wants to know to do that. Before, if you don't know, post on there, because I'm waiting for that reply. I want to look at this one here. That's been a hell of a thing. That's more fundamental driven. 200 pips. This is since midnight this morning. That's jumped in that range, right in the middle of the range. NZD is not the strongest. Japanese getting a bit stronger. Do I want to sell it right in the middle of the range? Not too sure about that. I want to have the stop above there. I'll put the 4 up. You don't get much better. If you put the 4R up, you're going to put stop. Remember, it's only 6 hours ago at 12,129 away, and we're going to put the TP down here. Ain't going to work. Down here ain't going to work. Down here, yeah, you can probably squeeze it right down there. It's got to get through this guy and this guy. Can't do it. You see where I'm going with that, Finally, you can't do that. Make sense? Okay. Does everyone make sense? And more to the point, to agree. You might think I'm talking a load of old single malt driven stuff, because that's why Final's in a bad mood. I pinched it last night. And very tasty it is. But seriously speaking, everybody understand that. Okay, right. You've got to look for a risk reward to make it worth it. Very simply put, you live in Joburg, and I'm going to pay you, Nikki, 500 Rand to go and pick up a package for me in Bloemfontein. You're clearly going to say, no, thank you, mate, because it's going to cost you more in petrol, time, effort, depreciation of the motor car, and maybe you have to stay overnight in a hotel. For a payment of 500 Rand, it's not worth it. So it's right in the middle of that trade. See the highs and the lows there? If you go in now, you've got to have the stop loss maybe there. So to do that, you've got to at least look for about 180 pips or maybe 185 pips minimum to make it worth your while. So the 185 is right down here somewhere. To get to that level there, it's got to break this guy here and it's got to break this guy here. And these are two pretty powerful obstacles to get through, which it clearly didn't do last time. It didn't do down here as well. So it's not worth it. Understood? Makes sense. You get it now, Nikki? Because I want you guys to do what Nikki's doing. If you're not sure, ask. That's what this is for. And I promise you, if I don't know, I can't explain it well enough, or you don't get me, somebody else can. I mean, what was it? Ken, he came in and often helped me out because he obviously can speak black language. I think you can as well, Farley, but obviously his home language, he can translate into Zulu or something so they clearly understand, because he's an experienced trader. I don't know where he is at the moment. It's a bit of a pity. He's quite a boon on the trading room. But that's what it's for. You get the idea. Yeah, I have a habit, Nikki. Remember this, guys, going a bit quickly. I do this every damn day. You know, it's like you driving a car. You didn't know you changed gears 3 times the last couple of minutes as you chat to someone in the back seat. And you're a driving instructor, and the guy's sitting there as a boom. What the hell's going on here? So just remember, hang on, run that by me again. Because I sit fairly quickly because I'm doing it every day. Not because I'm clever, it's just sheer practice, you know. You'll get that way soon. So just say, hang on, run that by me again. It's all about the risk. Once you've found out what the risk is, then you look to see if the reward is worth it. There's a program called Dragon's Den, where they had these 5 potential business angels who invest in up-and-coming companies. They need the capital, and they believed in the potential. They didn't have the capital, so they return the capital, they'll take a share in the company. And what was his name? What's his name again, that guy? What's his bloody name? I forget now. Said when he goes to look at the business potential, he's evaluating risk. This is exactly the same. You evaluate the risk. Oh, sorry, okay. That's what it's about. Evaluate risk. Once you've done that, then once you evaluate the risk is worth it, then you got to see, is the meat on the bones, is there enough potential profit worth taking the risk? There's not, with these hurdles in the way, good enough. Take the risk with such a wide stop. Leave it alone. Halfway house. It's not worth it. I would want to be putting my stop there. Yeah, that's only 48 pips, maybe 40 pips for the spread. There's no ways I could trade with a 20 pip stop. That's just asking to lose money. Okay, I'm muted you. Hope you understand that. Just going to modify my stop on this one. 31.65. Yeah, modify my stop up to 159.95. Now I'll take all risk out of that one, so get that right. Okay, I've unmuted you. I think I have to make sure. Yes, I've unmuted you. Nikki, if you want to go for it. Can't hear. I think you've got a problem your side.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can now. Yeah.
Okay, so I was just asking, when you have a when you're checking out the risk, can you just repeat that part again? How many like pips you pulled it up, and then you obviously double that to try and get a reward. But since it's not breaking the breakout points, you were like, no, okay, it's not worth it.
Yeah, well, first of all, to get from A to B, there's some pretty big hurdles to get across. So you look at this here.
Mhm.
By the way, little tip, if you want the crosshair, you can go up to the top there. Where's the crosshair? There. And you see it there and click on it. Another little tip, you can see my mouse there, little scrolling button in the middle. Tap it down, it comes up. I'll show what I mean. I'm tapping it down, I'll show what I mean. Comes up immediately. And then tap it again, it goes, oh, sorry. And then you click on it on the left click or right click, gets rid of it. Save you faffing around over here all the time. So I'm depressing that, it comes up, okay? Now, what I'm looking at here, just a little quick tip, as I just found that by accident, so it makes life a lot easier. Anyway, tiny thing, move on. You see how this is held? It's held. It's held. The last time it didn't hold was way back in, not way back actually, sorry, it's in April. We're now at the end of July, 3 months ago. So to me, to attain that TP down there, it's got to break this guy, which is a very strong floor, ceiling, not ceiling, sorry, floor in this case, and break this guy. 2 very strong hurdles to get down there. If you put the TP there, it's not worth it. Go back to, you'll now drive to Blum to pick up the package for me for 500 Rand. It's not worth it. If you do that, I'll pay you the 500 Rand, but it's cost you 1,500 Rand to do that. It's not worth it. That's what I'm saying. You can't put the stop here. It's not worth it. You've got to put the stop there. So it's cost you 125 odd pips to make 45 hit the TP. If anyone knows anything about horse trade, we call that odds on, not odds against. You know, you have 4 to 1 against or 4 to 1 odds on. That's when it's such an incredible favorite. There's a high likelihood win, but people don't bet odds on because you're going to lose 4 Rand if it loses, make 1 Rand if it wins. It's not worth it. You get the point. Are you with me on that?
Yeah, and then so that part I get, and then the part that, so when you pull back, you look when you try to get like a risk reward, and then you pull back to your stop loss. Did you pull it back to around about like 40 pips to the current price to try and get, or did you look at resistance levels?
Yeah, we modify at 30, 40, but 40 is very, very, very close. We even got a wider stop on entering this range trade on the hour. 40 pips, in my opinion, is very close. There are times it might justify it. I mean, it might be a very, very strong bounce here, very strong, like I mentioned here. It might justify 40, but that's a rare occasion, usually a bit more. So I'm going to take an example. Off the top of your head, Nikki, pick an instrument. Just give me one, and I'll go to it, and we can work it out together with the other guys as well. Pick an instrument, please, or anybody. Shout it out.
Okay, Meta.
Meta. Right. That used to be Facebook, for those that don't know. It's now Meta. Right. First thing you know when you look at Meta, it's a US dollar. It's a United States share, US share. It is not a forex, not commodities. And sorry to labor this. Sorry, but a lot of people don't know this. And it's not a what you call it index. It is a share. So why is it different? First thing you do is you look. Left click, right click, go to specifications. There you see the contract size is 1. So you'll be having higher volumes. Number 2, you're seeing that the maintenance is 5%. All shares are 5% deposit. How do you get the leverage? You divide the deposit or margin to 100 and you get the leverage. What's 5 to 100? 20. So the leverage is on this. I don't care. We've got 1,000 to 100 to 150 to 100 to 200. Leverage account. I don't care. All of them are 20 to 1 leverage. So that. Number 3, it only opens up at 3:30. So if you're in the trade, you can't close it, modify, do anything with it. So you've got to wait till 3:30, and then you've got to, and then 0.5% it closes. So it's no good waking up at 11 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning during the week. Nothing you do about it. All of them close like Christmas Day and New Year's Day, major ones like that, and of course at the weekend. Okay, just bear that in mind. There's a difference. Now, what we're going to do is going to be a trade here. Right. What we do then, let's have a look at the week. Might get a better picture. Right. Let's have. We'll stick to the daily. It's never been this high, as far as I know. Not on this one, no. Never been this high on this chart. So remember, it won't go further back. because Meta was changed over from Facebook. So Meta has only been going about a year, right? I can't remember that. So bottom line is you have to use what's called a Fibonacci extension if we want to buy it. Now, at the moment, it's a trend is up, so you might want to buy it. Are we good so far? That's a brilliant question, Vicky. More like it. We're going to do a trade idea together here. We're going to look at it. So I would assume because it's going up, you can see it's above these guys here. All of them is above, and pretty obviously, the trend is up. So we're looking to buy it. Okay, it's come back down to some support. Never mind it's opening level. I don't care. We'll use this as an example. So we want to buy it. Are we agreed on that, or do people have put up? If you want, put up a good case to sell it. We might say so. It might come back. I find that's a risky strategy. Very risky. It's gone, so I must pull back. No, not necessarily so. It might go back 400 before it pulls back enough to justify a trade. So we'll go with a trend. Are we happy on that? Anyone disagrees? Please tell me. This is open where we learn from each other. Okay, right. I can't find a high. So how are we going to find a target? That's when we use a Fibonacci extension. Right, you go there. I'm going to do this one here. Right, I start there, put it down to there. Now I've got my Fibonacci extension. Thank you very much indeed. Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Right, now I've got my Fibonacci extension. You got me there? So we can now get see if it's justified. Where's the price? Pretend it's open now. The price is $15. Call it $16. 1593 is $15.93. The last two digits are the two digits here after the full stop. So 1593, we call it $16. So we got a $16 target for the nearest Fibonacci extension. Okay, so we're just going to ease it out a bit. There we are. Stretch it out a bit. So to justify that, let's get a stop in the right place. Let's put the stop here. You've got to put it out the way. We're going to put it just below that low here and the 10-day moving average. So we got $11 stop. Will 16 make it work? It's a bit close. So we can still do it by maybe going back to the weekly, crunching a little bit, and maybe make our target the 161 fib. I can't see it too well. I can't see a thing on here. That's $22. You get your risk reward. You get the idea. So I put my stop out of the way here, It jumped on opening, so the news came out of Meta. That's why yesterday, that's why the gap. Closed up was 10, where are we now? Friday, Wednesday, opened at 3:30 on Thursday, hence the gap. I've done a Fibonacci extension to find a target. We haven't had a previous high to look at. I've got my stop below the 10-day and below that. If you're satisfied with that, this would be too close. You either leave the trade or you've got to be more ambitious with your TP. But at least now you've got a target to aim at. You probably didn't get all that at once, especially your new guys here. So questions?
Okay, I think I'll come back. I'll think about it and then I'll come back. Thank you.
Okay, a lot of guys might think, what the hell's going on here? That's why we have a trading room. This is practice. What the hell? You, Joe Soap, a cardiac surgeon, you get into a car for the first time, you wonder what the hell's going on. Don't panic. It's not that complicated. It just looks it because you're starting. Okay. Well, you can certainly use a short as well. Absolutely, just do the other way around. Always remember, and I've made the mistake, it's easy to do. Always remember, you cannot use the candle that's open. It's a work in progress. So you cannot use this candle here for the Fibonacci extension. It's still, well, you can actually when it's closed. Beg your pardon, you can in this case. So it's not a good example. For instance, let's go to something else. Let's go to the NZD CAD's nearest one there.
Roger, can you not go to GBP JPY, please?
Sure. Okay, we'll do that. Don't forget, remember, you can't use this candle here when you're doing any form of technical analysis. It's still a work in motion. Sorry, what was it? NZD JP, what did you say again? GBP and what was it?
GBP JPY, please.
Right, got it. Okay, got it. Just let it be close. There we go. Right. What do you want to do with this? You want to sell it? You want to buy it? What do you want to do with it?
I want to buy it.
You want to buy it? Okay, I have a special price for you. Okay. I make very
Plenty.
little profit. Only $10, okay? Right. I don't know if you ever travel the Far East just to talk. Yeah. Hello, Johnny. I love you. Only $10, special price for you. I make very little profit. That's how they used to talk. Right. So let's see now. Let's see if we can get that. 31,315. What about that for a stop loss? That's still not going to work. Okay. Personally speaking, I want to buy that. It's taken out the 50-day moving average, comes back, tests it and bounce again. Then I can have my stop down here somewhere at a reasonable place, somewhere down here where it's about 80, 90, 100 pips, which is possible. And then I can take it up here somewhere. I'm personally going to wait for that, unless you're going to be a Rambo trader and preempt the way up. That's being pretty birds on gambling, that's honest. I think that's being a bit gung-ho. But then you're going to have to use the 4 hour. How far is that? Still too far away. If you use the bill over here, 130 pips, and it's only 2 hours old, that candle. Look, you see where I'm going, guys? You see my reason why I will not do it. Do you understand, guys, what I'm talking about? Finding my discretion is money, you can do it. But I'm giving you my reason why I'm going to leave it. A 2 hour old, this is, remember, it's only the 4 hour candle, only start at 8 o'clock. So a 2.5 hour candle, when we stop below that, is about 140 pips. I've got to now look for about a 200 pip minimum, probably 210 pip TP. Where does that take me? You can probably get it up here somewhere. You've got to take it up here somewhere to get there. I'm not sure that's a cool idea. I think it'd be more prudent, and you still have plenty upside to play with. Be more patient, wait till it's gone up here, comes back, tests and breaks up. Then you can do the stop down in the TP up there. So I think hang 5 on that one. It's on the round figure as well. This is a psychological resistance area of 1, 7 and 9. So therefore we want to see that hold as well. So I personally, for those reasons, would stay aside. Any comments, guys?
I understand what you're saying. So will you wait for the candle to close on the daily time frame to see what happened, or what time frame we looking at the candles?
I'm going to have to use the daily. It's in the sell zone. It's another bit of a negative here. It's a sell zone on the 4 hour, so I'm going to have to use the daily. But at the moment, I'm not going to touch it. It's in the sell zone on the 4 hour on top of it. Let's have a quick look at the weekly. It's definitely the buy zone on the weekly. Daily, it's not quite in the buy. It needs confirmation. The 4 hours in the sell zone. So I might still go for it on the daily. I'll see the situation then. Good to see if we get a Fibonacci retracement from there to there. That might help. Ah, there we go. It hasn't even got there to proper Fibonacci retracement. That's not really giving me any help at all. Every time I look at something here, it's a pointer to stay aside. Okay, have we all got that? I do it quickly because I've seen it before, but I'm trying to explain as I'm going along. I hope you got the idea. Take a couple of notes, have a go yourself, bit of practice, and then you can come up yourself and then see, and then we can discuss it there.
Thanks, Roger.
Okay, happy with that. And don't forget, as I say, you can do it for a short as well. So you're doing a Fibonacci extension for a short. You do it this way around and that way around, and then you'd see from there if you're getting in from there. Let's say for short down there, you could use that for that point of view. So you can extension for a short by doing that top to the top, and for a long, you're taking this one to the bottom. So if it's never been that high before and you want to buy it, you could do it from the other way around by doing this. Something like that. But I'm not very keen on that because that is slightly off kilter and it's too short a term. You could do, but I'm showing you how. I wouldn't do it on this case because it's no. But just getting a general idea. So next time, Fibonacci, there's GANs, there's fans. I don't bother them. Sorry, wrong one. But very useful, and most it's used for retracement and extension. The retracement is there to when you get in again. You've got hit your TP, got out, it's pulling back. A nice retracement to get in again, and for the extension to find a target when there's no previous highs to look at. Very useful. Trend lines, this is me, I'm wary of. Why I'm wary of, are they good? Absolutely yes. The problem is people use different areas to put them in. Some guys might use the body. I'll show you what I mean. That's why I don't use them much. They might use the body, the next low up there, they never trend line there. Or they might use a trend line there, skipping that, which is not quite correct, to use this body there. It's not doing much good. Or they might use the line chart, which gives you a different area. See, then you got to move it to there. Or they might use the wick and use this one instead of the body to go through the wick. So you see what I mean? So you get trend lines in different places because people have different places putting them. And there's not a universal norm. You can use some, a trader will say, no, I would do the body. Another top guy will say, I only use the line chart. Another top guy will say, I only use the wicks. And all experienced traders, that is the problem. Now, Fibonacci, that's pretty clear low, pretty clear high, not a problem. And from a high, is anybody not see that's a high? I mean, a 10-year-old would see that. So it's not up for argument, not up for debate. That's patently obvious. The trend line is different. So that's why the reasons, I use them occasionally, but not that much. But that's all clear. So I'm not knocking them. I'm giving you a reason why I don't use them too much. As you notice, I don't use many indicators because I use the candle price action. That's telling you what's happening. The indicator is lagging and it's telling me it's going up after it's gone up. Well, I know it's gone up. I can see that on the candle. If you put in yesterday a stochastic or whatever, clearly it will be going down the sell zone. Why would it do that? The price action, the candle, you can see it. So I look at the candle, let's go to 15 minutes. I'm seeing that the price action is clearly on the way up now. That's why the reason when you look at the short-term chart, why Fani is looking to buy it. Get the idea? So you found the potential buy. Now you've got to fiddle around to see if you get an entry or you ship a sell, you missed it, or if you haven't missed it, is it enough meat on the bones? Is there enough pips in the target to justify the risk of the stop loss? That's really a nutshell of what I do. There you are. I've taught you how to trade in 10 minutes. So that's pretty good going. Now put into practice. That's what I do in a nutshell. You see what I'm getting, guys? People overcomplicate it and they get frightened. Get the basics. I'm teaching golf right now. Practice, 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 and hit it towards the whole least amount of shots. Simple as that. Okay.
It's really very good explained.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to do. And people can help me out with their own language if I can't speak it, because these bullet points are important. Because it's just experience coming in. Why people make mistakes needlessly because they overcomplicate or whatever. Or they're spending too much time on details which really are not that particular valuable. It's nice to know, but I know that Norman the Conqueror, whatever, invaded England in 1066. Nice to know, but is it going to help my commercial career much? It's a lot of details. What I'm saying is fun to have. They might give an extra point in a quiz night, but is it going to be very valuable? Those things are bullet points are necessary. Okay, because I've used them and found out the hard way myself. You know. And don't forget, as Nicky said there, if you can't make a trading room because you've got something else on and you want to see what's happening, you can go to the portal, go to the menu and go to the bottom on social media section there, you'll see it on YouTube. And always put in 0930, let's say 18th of 08, 22, whatever the date happens to be. So you're not looking at the wrong date. Okay, good. So we're clear on that one. I see our trade. I don't really stare at them all the time. I'm doing it this time particularly because I want to use how to cap the position. I'm pretty sure some guys don't know that. They didn't put their hand up and say that because I don't maybe know what I was talking about, scared to ask. Right, as you see, I've modified my stop. It's at 95 in the profit. I'm keeping it 40 pips behind. I'm leaving it there for the moment. It's doing okay. Right, now I've got that range trade out, probably out of that. Well, it don't have to be. I was doing well. Stay with it and modify your stop. Once you get a decent profit in it, you might go further and hit your TP. Who knows? We'll see. Right, now I've decided, for example, I'm not going to do it right now. In reality, I'm going to show you an example. I've decided the Swiss franc now, I'm going to take some money off the table. I'm going to bank part of my 16 micro position. So what I do is I don't go in the stop loss area or the TP area. I highlight it first, okay? I clearly don't. I like them there. Don't. How do you keep doing that? Can't see me a second. I'm going to double click on that one. Do this one. Okay, right. Because I don't want to lose a bloody trade. Right. Okay. What I do, not the stop loss TP, because that's for modifying, obviously. So anywhere else but those two areas, use the one if you like, and double click. If you all know it, stop me. If you don't know it, we'll do it. Now, I'm going to bank arbitrarily, for example, 6 micro. So I put in 0.06 as my volume. I will then click on close. And then what will happen then is that will be reduced to 0.1. And obviously, half of that or whatever is banked. And that will reduce to maybe 1100 or whatever it happens to be. Are we cool with that? Okay, you need to know that. There's a lot of guys who know trade, come to the trading room and done the class, etc., but didn't know that. So, well, you do know now. Okay. And again, it's not complicated, but it's very important. A little bit time of explanation is minute compared to the benefit of having that. So I've bought here, right? It's gone up there. It's got quite a bit of resistance there, the crosshair. I've already modified the stop. And just in case it doesn't break through, I might cut my position in half. And then if it breaks through, I'm still on board, modify my stop. I might cut it some more until I'm eventually stopped out. It's near the TP, it's still going up. I get the TP out of the way and maybe cut a couple more till I'm out. The problem is if you only got 1 micro, you've got no choice. Again, to go back to then you need to get a couple of bucks in your account. If you can, of course. Okay. Are we all good with that? You know, you can't increase it because you can't increase it because you have to open, well, you can, but you have to open a new trade. So I'm in CHF-JPY. I got in, and right, I got in, as you can see there, and I decided I want to add to it a bit. I put my stop loss up above there, so I can't lose in that trade. So there's no risk, and I can afford to risk, let's say, R1,000. I still see some upside. There's no harm in then increasing my position. I might say, oh, that's all right. I'm going to go into another one. So then you open up as before, a new trade, and then you put in the volume you want. You put in the stop loss you want, TP again, and you can buy by market. Now you say, right, I'm very highly exposed. No, you're not. You only expose the new one because the one you're exposing before is no more exposed, it's not at risk because your stop loss is above the entry. Does that make sense? Are you with me on that? That's another quite important point. So if I went there with another one, let's say your risk is R1,000 and I went in there with R1,000 risk. I'd go with another R1,000 risk. I'm not risking $2,000. I'm only risking $1,000 because I've covered myself in this open trade. So it's great. If I get stopped out, that's fine. I've only risked that. If it hits TP, I've made twice the profit. So that's why it's sometimes good to do that. What people unfortunately don't do often is they move they can't take the loss, they modify the stop loss away from market. All the calculations now are up to maggots, they've wasted their bloody time. Does that make sense? You with me? Happy? And then what they do then is they say, well, it must go up. This is their strategy. It's come off, it must go up. So I'll buy some more. Now it's going down, I'll buy some more. Now they're blowing their account. You see where I'm going? That's the fear, not the rational doing it. So that's the important stuff. Get that discipline on it and just make sure of that. Okay. So there's no harm in adding to a winning trade. And often, you know, you've taken out the risk on the previous one, like you have on this one. It's looking pretty good on that subject. I might look at doing that just to show you. But maybe look after the end of the weekend. I'll pick with this one. Not a bad idea you can look at, but please try not to. A lot of guys do modify the stop away. We've all done it. We'll probably do it again. Trying to get in the habit of doing it. You work the calculator on a stop loss at 160.00, and then you risk to break 500 rounds. You start modifying your stop to 159 on a long. Now you're doubling your risk. Now you're overexposed. You might come right. I'm not saying you won't. You might get lucky, but what happens if you don't? I hear all the time. No, you got. I've seen it 40, 50, 60% exposed in one instrument, and be hanging on, paying swap fees on top. They can't trade and side themselves. You've got to put a stop limit, but you might hit it, yeah. But then that's all right. But I can't afford to lose all that money. Well, if you can't afford to lose 10, you can even less afford to lose 15. Again, it's the emotion taking over the rationality. Okay. But that's quite a good question, despite that. I find actually often the stupid questions, Edwin, are the best ones, as it turned out in the end. So it's not a bad question, it turns out. But we're all clear on that. Thanks for this. This is how we learn. You know what I mean? This is how we're learning. Because it's pretty quiet in the trades at the moment. Likely to be going for the rest of the day. I get that. So, so yeah, not bad. Okay, all good. Anything else? Any more stupid questions? They're very good ones. Oh, you're in that one, are you? Oh, you just said so. Sorry, stupid boy. Read the bloody thing. No, 160.03 and 159.89. Never mind the last digit. That's 14 pips away. Don't forget, that's not 58. So try and get in the habit, it's a bloody nuisance, of ignoring that last one. Ignore the last digital point. So it's 159.89 and 160.03. So you're only 14 pips away. Too early. Oh, hang on. What are we talking about? We're talking rubbish. Talking rubbish. The price is 50. I do beg your pardon. Sorry. Yeah, you can modify the stop. You got a 160.03. Yeah, bring it down to 160. What's the spread? 5 pips. Make it to 160.10. Then you cover costs and everything, Nikki. Sorry about that. But don't forget, as you're doing that, make sure you're looking at pips, not points. Very important. But yeah, if you put it to 160.03, no, hang on, you enter 160.03. Yeah, if you put it 160.1, you've covered your costs, and you're still 35 pips away. So you should hopefully be all right at that. Okay. Yes, 160.1, yeah. And even then, if you put it to 159.89, now I'm thinking maybe a step ahead of me on this one, Nikki. Even that's not a bad idea. You'll make a loss of 14 pips. That's not exactly going to kill you, and you get a decent gap between the two. So don't forget, I'm happy to bring to entry whatever, but you can reduce risk as well. It's sell maybe 30 pips in the distance. You want to keep a gap, maybe a half your risk by raising it by modifying, you know, a distance below, but in other words, instead of risking 500, you reduce the risk to 250. So you can still do that as well. Sure. Because I hit the TP last time, and that's why it might even get back to 163.50 this time. Keep an eye on it, it's still going strong. Now, that makes sense.
Roger, like now in that specific trade, I would put in a trailing stop of 35 pips. So once it's activated after it passed your entry, then I forget about the trade and see what's happening.
Just want to mention what Finder said there on, guys. I'm in front a lot, so I can just In fact, I've got the phone handy and I take my route to me. I can just tap, check it quickly. However, I think it was you actually, Friday, brought it up. I think it was you yourself. Anyway, came up when he goes to sleep at night, he can't be asleep. He can't modify his stops. So before he goes to sleep, they put a trailing stop in. You can do that, absolutely. Do you all know how to put a trading stop? If you don't, tell me and I'll show you. It doesn't take 2 seconds.
I don't.
Good, thank you. What I'm trying to do is encourage people to do what you just did then, because they don't say anything, I'm going to say right. If you can't be issued to, you know, to ask or put in a chat line, then you can't, clearly it's not important enough for you to find out, so I'll move on. Since it is, because somebody did that, thank you very much. I'm trying to get people to get the confidence to ask questions and, yeah, get involved. Don't forget, a lot of people, I'm speaking their second or third language. So I do have a bad, I'm going a bit quickly. So join in. And if I can't explain it, it's somebody that can explain their own language who's done it before and understood, because these are important, very important points. Right. Now, how do you put a trading stop? You see right the left here, you see my cursor there, right the left Euro GBP, just to the left of it, and CHF JPY. Why is that one red and one blue? No other reason, because that's the buy and the other sell, no other reason. You see that there? You right click on it. If you want to put a trading stop on the, let's make it the CHF JPY, highlight it, right click on it, okay, and then go to trailing stop, then you go to custom, okay, right click on it, okay, go to trading stop, and then click on custom, and that box comes up. Are we all good with that? Simple as that, okay? Now, you've got to work out where you want to put your trading stop. I have to be honest, it depends. If you're on the index like the NAS or the GP or the Dow, you can't use 35 pips. Well, you can, you get stopped out. You've got to use something like 150 or something. It's a lot more volatile. Okay, but depending on the volatility of the Forex, might be slightly different one or another one. But I'm going to use Farney's one as a trading stop. Once you're in the position, you've done it all, it's going the right direction or whatever, you want to go to sleep and you want to put a trading stop in, I'm just going to use a rule of thumb of what he suggests, 35 pips. If you're going to do 35 pips, this is very important. You put in 350, because the word isn't pips, it's points. Remember, the last figure there is a point, that's a pip. 10 pips, 1 point. So you put in 35 there, you've got a 3.5 pip stop, you're going to be stopped out in the noise. Okay, right, so that's how you do it. I'll show you once again. We're going to put in a trading stop on the CHF JPY. You highlight it, right click, go to trading stop, go to custom, put in, let's say you want to do a 40 pip, you might want to do 40. Then you put in 40, 0, and then you okay it. Are we all good with that? I don't think it shows up to anything I don't like, unless you find some IT guys found a way of showing up in the chart. I don't think it does. It's a bit of a hassle. Anyway, there you got your trading stop. Are we good? This is important. You've got to be good.
Great explanation.
You are a star. Thank you very much. As I said before, never feel you need to be stingy on your praise. Anna-Marie, good point. You forget, this is the way our brain works. I passed that exam 20 years ago with 99%. Now, if I did it right now, I'll probably get 10%. Because obviously, I've forgotten a lot. Repetition, no problem. It's muscle memory and habit. See, now the color position now, you know how to do a trading stop. We've done a couple of strategies. We can do that more in future because a lot of guys like to get a few strategies going so we can spend more time in quieter moments in the future. Just remind me to do it. Say, let's go and have a look at a strategy. And I am then going to throw it back at you, say, pick an instrument like Nikki does. Why I'm doing that to try to get you to feel more confident to put your hand up. Okay, very much life as well as it's about confidence. Okay, Anna-Marie, I get that. You've all got my number. Remember, not on demos. Please never ask any broker in the world on a demo advice. When it's funded, absolutely. You've got now the economic calendar. I've copy and pasted it. I've copy and pasted the dollar index. Okay, so you got those handy, and those are bullet points. And you'll find now you got the bullet points. It's like the golf game I mentioned. You need, it's a par 5. You've got to get that from the tee box to the hole 5 or less. Less the better. That's the strategy. Simple as that. The rest is just practice. And part of the practice, not just hitting the damn ball, it's getting the mind right. In other words, not screaming, shouting, and beating everybody up because you missed the putt. You know what I mean? That's getting the mental strength in order. But we can't get the mental strength in order because we ironed out a couple of those bits. And once you do that, it's like changing gears, practice. Let's pick one out, just the hell of it. GBP CHF, what the heck? On the daily card, check. In the sell zone, check. It's below the 10-day. Hang on. We might have something here, guys. This is one we clearly want to buy is a Swiss franc. So we want to sell the other currency. We've been missing it because there's not enough meat on the bones. We had to get a retracement. It's there by sheer bloody luck. What's the TP? 60, 70 pips. I'm going to take it down there. We've got, we can get a 90 odd pip TP. So we need about a 50 pip max stop loss. We can do it. Weekly, any problems? No problem. It's a sell zone. 4 hourly. Also broke up, but is holding on the resistance there. And again, not quite the sell zone, but it's half sell, half, well, intermediate. So we're okay there. What's the hour telling me? Start to come off. 15-minute telling me, hovering a bit, but that's good enough. I don't really need anything else. I'm happy with that. I remember I want to be buying that. I'm going to be selling that. I've been waiting till we get that. And the 10-day is held. So I like that one. Let's put a calculator up and see what I'm doing. That's practice. Bang, bang, bang. Let's go for it. Well, did that take 3 hours to look at? You see what I mean? Right. So we're going to do a short on this one. Where's this? Going to make it about a 50 pip or 45 pip stop. A bit high. Sorry. Maybe use the 4 hours of stop. If you can't, I prefer to get it above there. You're going to have the TP down here. Silly problem. I want to use the daily for the TPs. Hang on. Got to get a TP down here. Make it down there. That's 1.1056. Make it 1.1. What's it? 1.1055. Good enough. That'll do it. Can we do that in the 4 hour? It's got to be there. I'd like it a bit tighter. You've got to make the TP a bit wider. That's the only unfortunate thing. But that being said, not too bad. Can we get a slightly better price? We can put that a little bit further. It's too high. That'll do. It's okay there. Out the way. Last time it was there. Okay, it was there. I get that. Okay, that's okay. Right. What do you feel about that, guys? What do you think? Remember, it's stronger than the pound. Going up, the 10 days holding, looking okay on the 4. What about the weekly? Weekly, it's in the sell zone. 4 hourly, practically in the sell zone, but it's right on resistance there as well. Hourly, is it going to tell me anything? Yep, starting to come off a bit. Try the 15-minute. There's a bit of a hover there, to be fair. You might say I could give it a miss, a bit quiet or whatever, but I think there's a potential here of something on that one. Or you might say I'm going to wait a bit and get a wider stop or whatever. So it's slightly on the aggressive side because the stop is not ideally above the 100 moving average on the 4-hour chart. But that being as it may, adds a bit of aggression to that trade, a bit more Rambo than dovish, if you know what I mean. But other than that, $100 a micro. What do you think? Ivan's traded before, guys. If he said it's okay, I'm going to count that as 2 thumbs up. So Ivan liked it. Good. Anybody else? Anybody else? And he likes it, so we're going to put it down there. What are we getting in at? We'll go in between the spreads and call it 1.1158. There we are. 1.1158, 1.1207, 1.1055. And what is it again? 105 and 205. Okay, there you are. I'll give you a moment to take that down if you like it. Give yourself a chance to put the trade in and remind me to do it because I keep forgetting. $100. I'm going to risk. I'm going to risk 1,500 on this one. So I'll go for 1.5. What's the stop loss? Popping up with it. It's going up a bit, so I can wait a second. Do that. Stop loss in. Where the hell is it? Okay, anyway, don't put it just now. 11 o'clock already, yeah. Okay, okay, what was that now? Just quickly. Something before we knock it off. Okay, I'll certainly do that. Okay, good. Right, so there you are. I see the time now has come in at the bewitching hour. Have a great weekend, guys. Take some notes and remind me if you want to do some more strategy talk or stuff we went over today to repeat it again. We can certainly do it in a quiet moment. There's not much action happening in trading, just to get up to speed on the practical aspects. And then we're all winning together. Are we all good with that? Fantastic, Nikki. Good stuff. Great. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, good stuff. Catch you Monday. Monday. Thank you very much. Okay, guys.